This is Jackie, and I've got Valiant and Valient Thorr here on Warped Tour. How you doing so far today?
Alahoyas, I'm doing very good. How are you doing?
All right, I'm hanging in there. I'm enjoying the air conditioning. I'm kind of oppressed right now. It's not so bad.
It's nice in here. It feels good.
Can't complain. I can't complain.
Well, you could, but would it really do any?
No, I'd suck.
Good to complain?
No, not at all.
And sometimes you need to vent. I think it's very important to vent out your frustrations. That way they don't get backed up on you. But all in all, you should just get them out and then let it slide. But right now, everything's feeling really good.
Nice. Warped Tour's a great place to be. Why Warped Tour this year for your band?
Well, I saw Kevin in an airport like 2 years ago, and he wanted us to get in last year for a 10-year sort of anniversary since we last played Warped Tour 2006. But we were already going to Europe because our latest album was coming out at the end of last summer. And so we ended up, he was going to ask a bunch of like old school type bands to play anyway for this year, so we just added to this. And we did like 3 tours on our record in Europe, but we haven't even toured the U.S. with our record. So it was a good time to get us an opportunity to get the new jams out in front of a crowd that we haven't been in front of in a long time, possibly ever. Some of the guys that saw us when they were 15 now are like, 25 and over and older, or some kids that were 10 are like, 20, and it's so nuts, like how time flies and how things change. It's really, really eye-opening. But yeah, I guess that's how we ended up out here again this summer.
But you guys have been together for about 17 years or so. What keeps you guys rocking on this planet for that long?
Well, we can't get off of it. Earth doesn't have the technology for us to leave. However, I think it's important to point out that it's not really about where you're from. For a long time on Earth, I wanted to hide where I was from so that people wouldn't think of me as a certain way. But it's really about where you're at and what you do with your time where you are, And I think that is an important reminder. You can be in a small town, a little hick town where everyone has closed minds, and if you aren't like them and you aren't like that, then it's up to you to try to infect some kind of change and to do some kind of good and to inspire some kind of goodwill for people. And then, once you do that, it kind of snowballs. Like if you let somebody in the morning in traffic, that usually trickles down there in the day. If you hold the door open for some guy at the gas station, he says, "Thank you, buddy." And it just kind of works like that. But however, if you don't let that person in, you make them mad as hell, and then they spread that through the day. So we try to spread good and not spread, the asshole vibe.
I like that.
Spread the good, not the asshole.
Seems to be a common theme with the folks I've been talking with today. I really like that.
Well, with the anti-flag dudes, I think it's a very common theme for sure. A lot of guys out here. I feel fortunate to be out here this year because I have lots of friends. We didn't know. We said yes because it was a very good opportunity for us. But I think about, you look at, like, I live in Richmond, Virginia right now, and there's like Municipal Waste and Guar, all from Richmond, and it just feels good to have all your buddies out here with you this summer. It's like really nice.
Nice. How has the band's sound evolved from Stranded on Earth to Old Salt?
Oh, well, that's, I think it's hard to talk about your own stuff without seeming a little bit biased or whatever. But if I take me out of the equation, when we started, we didn't know anything. We didn't know what we were doing. But then every record, when you look at a band's progress, like all my favorite bands, like a lot of times the first thing you hear about them is the thing that you like the best. But as it goes, you go, "Oh man, this one's even better than the last. This was even better." And then "Oh, that one kind of sucks." But then the next one comes out and you're like, "Oh, they're back." So they do like a trajectory. It's like a roller coaster. But with us, we weren't any good at the beginning. So it started and it got better and better because we keep learning. We're open to learning all the time. And the more you learn, I try to learn something every day. I learn, my professors used to say the professors can learn from the students just as much. And, I used to be a 6th grade teacher, and I would tell them, like, if you learn something, just one thing every day, then the day was worth it, There's a lot of days where you sit on your ass and you're like, couch potatoing out. And granted, some days you need that. But I think it's a wasted day if you don't at least try to, like, I don't want to say better yourself to sound like some kind of elitist, but to learn something that's going to help you or somebody else, it only makes the vibe go better, because life is roller coaster-ish. You know, sometimes you're on a high and sometimes you get really low, but if you plan on it, you know, we're all going to die. You don't have to freak out and mourn forever. You go, oh, this is going to happen, so you can celebrate those things. Or, you know, not to be so morbid, you go, yeah, shit's going to go awry sometimes. Like last night on our way here, I don't know how to technically explain this, but we're in this bus thing, and the brakes are on air, and there's like these big airbags that help you float and not, you know, beat yourself to death. Those blew out last night, so our whole ride was like, my bunk is on the shock, yeah, on the wheelbase, and it was like this the whole time, and I was like, you know, what is going on? And each one, it sounded like lower than a shotgun, but like if you heard a shotgun outside, so it's like pow, 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 boom, boom, pow, pow, and I was like, man, this is fucking terrible. So I just tried to sleep up in the front and then pretend like we weren't all gonna die like every minute. So it was an intense night. And though we got up, and it was like, you play first. And it's like, oh, well, it's pouring down rain. The rain's going to stop, and it did. We'll rock, and then we'll do press, and then we'll cool out. And we've already got through the rocking. Now I'm doing the press, so all I got to look forward to is cooling out. So my day has went from like this, and it's going up. I knew it was going to do like that, and if you, like, ingrain that into yourself, it doesn't really matter what happens. It's a good attitude to have, and I'm glad, you know, not everybody, especially on this tour, but in life, you're not going to agree with everybody. But if everybody in the end ultimately agrees that doing better and helping each other, then you can throw politics and religion and all of it out of it. You know, then we're all sort of like humanitarians. If we're all working for each other, no matter who we are, you know, no matter skin color, no matter where we came from, then I think that's the best way to be. I'm no expert, but.
So it sounds like you have some good advice and some good ideas of, you know, kind of dealing with the craziness of 2017 so far. Oh, yeah. And it is to help each other out and maintain sort of a positive outlook.
Even the most even-keeled cats that I know have been on a bummer, as, you know, politically speaking, you know, because shit is just awry. Like, things are wild right now. But you have to know something wild is going to happen. Like, the bullshit can't keep up forever. Just like Will, or whatever the dude from Anti-Flag was saying, like, things are like a roller coaster, almost. Like, you can use that as it's all about where you find significance. But if you're bummed right now, I don't know anybody who's happy right now. I don't even understand anybody who's a supporter, how they would be happy, because things are insane. Like, if you pay attention at all, historically speaking, things are insane right now. But I don't think it does you no good to sit around and worry. That's like my Earth mother. She only ever brings me bad news. It's only ever like, did you hear about that guy who crashed? Or did you hear about that? And I'm like, no, I didn't hear about that. But if I did, I wouldn't let it sink in, because people crash. That sucks. If you know them personally, that really sucks. But I'm not going to vibe my whole day out because some dude like 600 miles from here wrecked. That shit happens. It's a bummer, but what do they say? Don't sweat the small stuff?
Don't sweat the small stuff.
Yeah, let it roll off your back, because it's all horse shit, you know? You got to pick and choose the vibrations.
I like that. And there's more music to listen to, so you might as well just...
So much more good music to listen to. I don't know what these kids are talking about out there. I love the Everly Brothers and Roy Orbison. I don't give a shit about anything else right now. And maybe that's just because I had 2 beers already, but it was a really hectic morning. But look up new music, but don't forget the old music, because there's some really good singers that make me feel good in the morning. Everly Brothers are one of them.
Well, to keep the vibe going, let's play a little game with me. Okay.
I like that. Let's do this.
Let's do this. All right. Rapid fire questions. Whatever answer first comes to mind, just stick with it.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. If I weren't a musician, I would be?
A painter.
My music idol is?
Mark Mothersbaugh from Devo.
Yes. Look him up. The best part or perk of being a musician is?
Traveling.
The most difficult or challenging part of being a musician is?
Being away from my kitty cats and my sweetheart.
I would agree with that. I don't know them, but I would still agree. Before I was a musician, I had a job as a
sixth grade teacher.
9th, 10th, and 11th myself. If I could collaborate with anyone outside my genre, it would be?
Ooh, that's a really cool thing. Gosh, that's a really hard question. There's so many. We're talking currently, right?
Or posthumously.
Or posthumously. Oh,
That makes it even harder, though.
That makes it difficult. Let's do old and new. I'd say Jim Morrison or Bon Scott era AC/DC posthumously, and if let's say like new wise, I think something. Man, I have no idea, because I do get to do. I get to do fun things. How about this? I'll give plugs for two. I always get to sing. Went to East Carolina University with Scott Avett from the Avett Brothers. We had painting classes and stuff together, and so we do collaborate a lot. I sing with them on every New Year's Eve, and sometimes whenever we're around together, whether it's different festivals or whatever. And you know, we sing with lots of bands that we're on tour with, like Red Fang and stuff like that. But I used to have some students when I taught figure drawing at East Carolina, and some of them ended up in this band called Future Islands, and we haven't actually collaborated yet, but we're good buddies that see each other all the time. They're from Baltimore. If you don't know them, check them out. They're fantastic. I'd love to do something with them. That makes a whole lot of sense. It wouldn't make sense for me to sit up here and say, oh, man, I love to sing a jam with the Flaming Lips, because they have such a big appeal that people would love them. They don't know who we are. They wouldn't give a shit about us. It wouldn't be, if I said, I want to do a song with Kesha. It wouldn't make any sense.
But I'd like to see that, too.
Oh, she's a very sweet girl who has talked very good things about us in rock and roll, and we know each other and everything, but I don't think it would make sense. Future Islands would make sense, because we know them and we have a rapport,
I dig that. Last question. I mean,
that wasn't a rapid fire. I'm sorry.
no, it's okay.
Fucking rambled.
You're allowed. Last question. I mean this to be a positive one. Song that you would like played at your funeral.
Shit, man. I don't know. The first thing that popped in my head was I can't always get what you want. But I'm not sure if that's the right answer or not. I have had answers for that before, but I don't know. I'll say Ghost Rider by Suicide.
I like that one, too. Well, stay tuned for much more from Valient Thorr. This is Jackie. Thanks to Chorus FM and One Avenue.